Hey guys, I'm Dov, and today I'm back with more Total War Warhammer 2 multiplayer action. You can see Mohawk moving around in the shadows back there. We're here with Bretonnia, going to be taking the new hero squad that I was theory crafting about, Enchantress, plus Gotrek and Felix. So these two infantry characters going to be providing some good frontline support for Bretonnia. Enchantress will be able to heal them and just generally support them as well. They can kind of all fight in a blob together, and if that ends up happening, of course, that Miss of the Lady will be able to drain my opponent quite well. We're up against a Skaven opponent. And just a quick note about the Enchantress, she does have quite heavy magic resistance, and, with Blessing of the Lady also has physical and missiles, so she is quite resistant to Skaven missiles, especially Warp Lightning Cannons, stuff like Liber Bubonicus as well, so I quite like her in this matchup, and especially with these two now to provide a bit of stopping power. We've got two mounted yeoman archers, including the Wardens of Montfort, some mobs up front, second line of men-at-arms with a couple of archers, one fire arrow, one pox, and we've got Knights of the Lion-Hearted, Knights of the Realm, and over here more Knights of the Realm and the Defenders. So for my Skaven opponent, he's got lots of gutter runners with poison, which is an interesting pick for against Bretonnia. Actually pretty decent. He's got mixed slingers and the shurikens as well. One rattling gun team, so he's going to be looking to combine the snare nets with that suppression effect for maximum speed debuff. Very good stuff. Backing it up with lots of spears, just Skaven Slave Spears, Clan Rat Spears, as many hits as you can get in with a front line of Clan Rats with shields, a couple of Rat Ogres, Ikit Claw leading the way on his dirt bike. And we've also got two Assassins, so a very interesting Skaven build. We'll see how it does here. You can see immediately I'm going to be maneuvering my units up and around to start to do some skirmishing. If we can get a hold of like these Rat Ogres, for example, maybe this Plague Claw Catapult, shoot up the crew a bit, can potentially get some good work done in, right off the bat. The Catapult's going to be shooting at my peasants. That is perfectly fine with me. But in this particular battle, Gotrek and Felix aren't going to have that many great targets to shoot at. Or, sorry, not shoot at, fight, obviously, in melee. Ikit Claw will be a good one. Actually, the Assassins, interestingly enough, Felix will have a pretty decent niche against them because of that anti-infantry. He has pretty good weapon strength, pretty good combat stats as well, and that self-heal from the Blood Oath does mean that he'll be able to take on those Assassins pretty efficiently if he can get a hold of them. Granted, they are a bit faster than him, quite a bit faster than him, actually. But over on this side, I managed to discover this unit of gunner runners, and there's no way they're getting away from this. Immediately just get pummeled by a double Bretonnian cav charge, so they are going to be wiped out in a big hurry. No question about that. Meanwhile, over here, Rattling Gunners and the Slingers, again, combining to heavily debuff the speed of these mounted yeoman archers, then kind of push them away with the gunner runners. Frontline engagement's just about to get underway. You can see Gotrek's charging through here. He's ready to take on Ikit, but yeah, instead I decide to go after these Rat Ogres instead in the front line, so he's going to get in there, deliver a righteous karate chop back in the neck on that one. Meanwhile, the Brass Orb going down there doing some good damage to Men-at-Arms, a Warp Lightning Cannon as well, just breaking up the advance. Going to get a nice rear charge here on these Clan Rats, just absolutely punish them super hard. Meanwhile, this unit, Rival Hide Talisman on them for a significant melee attack debuff, and the Knights of the Lion-Hearted, yeah, they looked like they were maybe going to land a rear charge, but they didn't actually quite get home there, so a little bit unfortunate. Meanwhile, over here, these two cav units moving in, and you can see the infantry line definitely going in the Skaven's favor, as Clan Rats with shields are a bit superior to your typical peasant infantry. Of course, the Rat Ogres supporting quite well also, but the three heroes kind of all fighting in this little pocket together. We've got some supporting fire. You can see those combined effects there on the Knights of the Lion-Hearted between the poison and the rattling guns. They're down to 31 speed, so basically as slow as infantry, and they're just getting torn to shreds there without having done much work at all. Only one kill on them, so pretty unfortunate situation for me getting a high-value knight torn up like that, but we'll see. And a very nice Warp Lightning just wrecks those pox arrows. The other unit of archers had got wrecked by Ikit Claw and the Rat Ogres. You can see Felix is back here trying to deal with things, but unfortunately Gotrek did get caught up in a front line of Clan Rats, and since he doesn't have that much mass, he would have a relatively hard time pulling away from this engagement, but Thankfully, the Fey Enchantress is relatively close by as well. Rivalhide Talisman there is going to debuff her significantly, but she can stand and fight for a little while in that pocket against Clan Rats. The Assassin's a bit of a danger, but not too much to worry about. Over here, we do collapse a couple spears and get into this line of ranged units. The Knights are going to start to get saturated in here. Granted, there are a lot of numbers of Skaven, and especially these Clan Rat spears, they're not pushovers by any means. They can actually get some work done over time, especially with the support of that Warp Lightning, the missiles all shooting in as well. The Rattling Gun's going to try and disengage from that position. Meanwhile, Knights of the Lion-Hearted, they are a regiment of renown, so they have great leadership despite the losses. They are finally going to land home a charge here, start to get a few kills, but shortly rout thereafter. Meanwhile, over here, favor of the Fae on these Knights of the Realm as they just tear apart these Rat Ogres with the support of some Peasant Infantry here. We've managed to catch them sort of isolated there. Again, in the front line, we've got Felix rallied to the Fey Enchantress. Gotrek's over there still fighting the Clan Rats. And actually, I have to say, in this battle, I did notice Felix's healing effect there. You can see it's kind of trickling some HP onto the Fey Enchantress. It's not super impactful, it's not a huge amount of healing, but especially if you're able to fight with, the three of them in a big blob, it can definitely provide some nice sustain. Meanwhile, over here, these Knights of the Realm, again, just charging out these Gutter Runners and other Slingers anywhere we can, trying to make sure we shut down my opponent's high-value ranged units here. Those Gutter Runners definitely getting punished pretty badly, but you can see just the turn and crossfire there. Interesting. I haven't actually seen Gutter Runner Slingers in quite some time, but I was impressed at how well they did this battle. Skaven still very much in the fight. Balance power slightly in my favor, but things are still relatively even for the Skaven. All things considered, Ikit Claw still up on his thing, relatively healthy. You can see the Fey Enchantress moves in. We're going to try and support some of these Knights here. The two heroes of the day charging in. Maybe, maybe not. Just making sure those rats aren't going to come back. But yeah, go ahead and toss an Earthblood in here to heal up some of these Knights. Knights of the Lion-Hearted. And especially this unit of Knights of the Realm, 104 kills, just about 2 XP chevrons, well on their way to 2 XP chevrons, I should say. And yeah, Hero's going to get in here once again. Come on, Felix, give him a swing. Maybe, maybe not. I am pretty aggressively trying to get, these different characters here. The Assassin in particular, obviously, for Felix. And then Gotrek, really Gotrek can fight anyone, but especially if he can get a hold of Ikit, that would be ideal. But you can see here the Assassin is able to get a few good attacks on the Fey Enchantress, do some decent damage. Granted, she still has quite a bit of healing cap space left, as does Felix there. You can see a nice brass orb over on the far side. I'm trying to use my cab to keep Ikit stopped up so that I can get Gotrek into contact there, but oh man, I almost missed that. Brutal Comet just absolutely destroyed that giant blob of Skaven there. I did actually get a Comet earlier, I think, that it didn't do nearly as much damage, but still, interesting to see that although the Plague Claw catapults got destroyed as well, I'm not 100% sure what did that. My guess is probably Skaven-friendly fire ended up doing that, but meanwhile over here, Fey Enchantress gets into a bit of a pickle as she is going to get attacked by the Assassin here, and since Felix is a little bit preoccupied, doing some fancy pirouettes and stuff into the Clan Rats, he unfortunately is not targeting the Assassin, so you can see I'm going to issue an order to get over there. Fortunately, he's having a little bit of a hard time. There we go. He gets a good attack, and now the duel is on. You can see the Assassin, without the debuff, the Trophy Heads debuff obviously would probably turn this around, but without that debuff, Felix absolutely will win this fight. Get a nice little supporting rear charge here as well from a couple units of Knights. Even the Knights of the Lion-Hearted still fighting in this late game, and that's an awesome shot right there. Felix just whacking whacking rats in the neck left and right. Oh man, I love Felix's animations in his model. Same thing with Gotrek. You can see Gotrek charging in here from the side again, just trying to use these cav to keep Ikit stopped up in here so that Gotrek can get in and get some attacks, and finally he starts landing some attack animations here. A really nice Warp Lightning, gonna just absolutely devastate these Bretonnian cav, but just a couple of hits on Ikit and he is routed by Gotrek. So it doesn't take much, just a couple hits there, and we were able to carry the day. And definitely having that heroic, saturating frontline presence. Obviously, my opponent really didn't have that many great tools for sniping them. Both of them are very vulnerable to Giselles, and my opponent ended up not bringing any of them. Very interesting build. I do quite like it. Personally, I'd probably make a handful of changes, but I think just maybe going with the spears with shields here, like you go 4 spears with shields and 3 regular clan rats instead, or maybe you just tank up more on Skaven slaves and try and, maybe invest in 1 more unit here. Likewise, my opponent didn't have any summons. I mean, obviously, Skrulk is probably going to be a more meta pick in this matchup, but even Ikit's not bad here. I personally like him a little bit better on the Doom Wheel. So again, if you were to, let's say you change these clan rats shields for, spears and shields. Maybe you take a couple of clan rats, a couple of Skaven slaves, see if you can't free up a few points to upgrade Ikit to the actual Doom Wheel. And then maybe you trade out one of these assassins for a Plague Priest with just the Vermintide, just the summon, so that you can get a cheap way to get some more bodies on the field, potentially. But other than that, I actually quite like this build. I haven't seen someone use those Rattling Gunners and the Gutter Runners Slingers like that in tandem, but actually ended up being very effective. You can see the Knights of the Lion-Hearted, most of them were dragged down. I mean, granted, they did stick around until the late game, got a few key rear charges there. The other 2 units of Knights of the Realm, though, performed great. They're just such a good pick in this matchup. You don't really need the Grail Knights. There's nothing really elite enough on the Skaven roster to warrant that. The Knights of the Realm, very cost-effective against Rat Ogres. They can charge down Skaven infantry, no problem. So, yeah, really like them here. Defenders of the Fleur-de-Lis, also extremely cost-effective. A very high charge bonus for the cost. Then, 72 kills on Gotrek. I mean, obviously he was saturated in clan rats for a lot of that time, but did also kill a handful of rat ogres. And again, just having their heroic presence in the front line definitely was quite helpful. Felix racking up 28 kills, throwing out his support buff to the Fey Enchantress, helping to bail her out a couple times there. Fey Enchantress herself with 47 kills, so yeah, not bad. I definitely am going to be experimenting some more with builds similar to this for Bretonnia, but I am very much looking forward to using Gotrek and Felix for them. Like I've said before, and I will continue to say, I feel like Bretonnia benefits the most from these two, so you'll be seeing more of that. Thank you very much for watching. If you do want to see more, be sure to subscribe, hit that bell notification button, like the video if you've liked it, and yeah, that's all. Thank you very much. We'll see you next time.